Hi and welcome to Dave Culinary. I'm Punita Dave and today we are going to make butternut squash ravioli. This is a very special ravioli that you find only in some high-end restaurants. The reason is butternut squash is a seasonal vegetable or a squash that you get only around October or November. You get it year round, but it's available in plenty around this time. And it comes with a very special recipe. Now to that usual recipe of butternut squash ravioli, I have added my own special ingredients to make it my signature dish. So that's what you're going to see in the video today. So let's start making our butternut squash ravioli. So we are going to make our butternut squash ravioli in three parts. One is for the filling, second for the dough, and third for the ravioli itself. So we'll start with the filling. So let's look at the ingredients first. We have a quarter teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon powder, a pinch or a drizzle of clove powder, a pinch or a drizzle of nutmeg powder, a pinch or a drizzle of cardamom powder, 1 piece of star anise, a quarter teaspoon of salt, a quarter to half teaspoon of crushed red pepper, a quarter teaspoon of lime juice, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 2 cups of butternut squash, a quarter teaspoon of chaat masala or black salt or pink salt, whatever you have, 1 teaspoon of sage-basil-and-oregano mix, a quarter cup of Parmesan cheese grated, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So these are the ingredients. But if you don't have any of these ingredients, like you may not have cinnamon powder or cardamom powder or nutmeg powder, that's okay. You can totally skip that. So it's a very forgiving recipe. You can make it whichever way you want. A couple of key ingredients that I do recommend you have for this recipe is one is freshly ground black pepper, some salt, brown sugar, and also some olive oil, and crushed red pepper if you like that flavor, and lime juice. If you have these things, you can still make your big butternut squash. So let's get started with making our baked butternut squash. So we'll get our butternut squash ready for baking. For that, I have taken a baking tray and sprinkled some water on the base, added our butter paper, and then grease the butter paper with oil. To that, I've added my butternut squash, and then I'm going to grease it with oil, add some salt and the freshly ground black pepper, mix it all well together and spread it evenly on the baking sheet. I have put the oven for preheating to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and we are going to bake these for about 25 to 30 minutes till they're well done. So let's get it to the oven. So I've taken 2 cups of flour, and I'm going to add a pinch of turmeric to get a yellow color. And now I'm going to bring the dough together using about 1 cup of heavy whipping cream and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And if you want, you can add half a teaspoon of salt. So bring the dough together using heavy whipping cream and olive oil. A lot of people build the dough with eggs, but I build it with heavy whipping cream. Once the dough comes together, you want to put it in a cling wrap and put it aside to chill for 30 minutes. But I took cold heavy whipping cream, so I'm just going to keep it at room temperature for 30 minutes in a cling wrap. Now I'll tell you a cool trick. If you don't have cling wrap, you can even use a sandwich bag to put your dough aside. So here I have a sandwich bag. I'm going to just put the dough inside, wrap it up, cover the bowl, and put it aside for 30 minutes. Now after 25 to 30 minutes, they are totally baked. So we're going to take them out, and while they are warm, so give it a little time to cool off, but while they are still warm, you want to add your brown sugar, your other spices and masalas, all the powders, whatever you have, crushed red chili, nutmeg powder, cinnamon powder, and our cheese. You do this while it is warm so that the brown sugar melts a little bit and adds a caramelized flavor. So does the Parmesan cheese, it melts a little and softens, and that's what is going to add flavor to our baked butternut squash. So it is really important that you do it while it is still hot or warm. So after you let it cool for about 10 minutes, you can add it to the blender and create a good mix like the way I did. The butternut squash is soft, so you can simply do it by a masher as well if you want. But this is the thickness you want. This is the consistency you want. If it is too watery, add some almond flour. If it is too thick, you can add a little bit of heavy whipping cream to dilute it. But that's the consistency you want. We are now ready to roll our raviolis since our filling is done. So let's get with rolling the raviolis. So our dough has been chilling for about 30 minutes. As I mentioned, since my heavy whipping cream was already cold, I left it outside, but you can put it in refrigerator. We are going to take it out from the cling wrap and we'll create about 5 or 6 equal parts out of this dough. So knead it a little. And then with the dough cutter, you're going to make equal parts out of it. So about 5 or 6 parts. And then we'll dust the surface with a little bit of dry flour and take one part from the bowl, make a roll out of it. Just like that. If necessary, you can even knead it a little to smoothen out the flour. Make a roll and then place it on the surface and roll it out with a rolling pin. You want to roll it out longer. You don't want to make a round shape. We are going to use an ice tray for making the raviolis. So you want your dough to be of an elongated shape, not a oval or a round shape. So make it elongated. Now you get these ravioli containers that you can use for making your raviolis. But I'm going to show you a very simple way of making raviolis using an ice tray. So that's what we are going to use today, but just letting you know that you get these containers if you're interested. Now here is an ice tray, and on that I'm going to take a large piece of rolled up ravioli flour. You want to create 2 large and 2 small ones. The one that goes in the base is a little bit larger because it's going to make up for the room to add your filling, the butternut squash filling. Now you add some water to all the edges, and on top of it you place another rolled ravioli flour sheet. This one is a little bit smaller, or can be a little bit smaller, and then you simply hold it, invert it, press it down a little and take off the ice tray. Make sure you don't break the raviolis or pull the flour apart. Now you can take a simple pizza cutter and cut out your raviolis and also remove the extra flour. Now in order to avoid the raviolis from breaking, you want to seal up the edges, so you can do that using a fork, just as I'm showing it in the video. And do this to all the raviolis. And we filled up the tray to about 14 raviolis, and we filled up another tray and we still had a little bit of flour left. So this recipe will make about 30 to 35 raviolis if you use up all the flour. Now these are ready to go into the boiling water. You have to make sure the water is boiling. So let's get to the next step. In case you're looking for the ingredients list, here is the list of ingredients that I used in this recipe. So I provided the ingredients for the filling with the preparation of the filling and the ingredients for dough while making the dough. Now here are the ingredients for the final prep. So I have about 3 tablespoons of melted butter for tadka. You can even take unmelted butter the way I have done it and melt it in the pot. We have 2 tablespoons of additional cold butter that we are going to use later on to add flavor. We have 10 to 12 leaves of sage, and we have 1/4 cup of chopped walnuts or hazelnuts and half a tablespoon of lime juice. Now here is the thing. One of the things that you want to do is keep your two sets of butter, the one for the tadka and one that you want to keep unmelted, in 2 separate bowls so that you don't accidentally add all the butter at once. Now here I have a pot of water that has come to a boil, and I'm going to add my raviolis. Now one thing you want to make sure when you're adding your raviolis is you add them one at a time, and you want the water to be boiling all the time. So if the water cools down, wait for a couple of minutes and then add your raviolis again. Also, to the boiling water, you want to add a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt. The salt is going to give the flavor to the raviolis, and the oil is going to make sure the raviolis don't stick to each other. After about 3 to 4 minutes, the raviolis will start floating up, the ones that are done. So you want to dip your spatula just enough at the top to pull out the raviolis. You don't want to pull the raviolis from the bottom of the pot. Once you have boiled your raviolis, next thing is for you to heat up a pan, and to that we are going to add our butter, melt it, and then we'll add some fresh sage leaves. Sage tastes really good with butternut squash ravioli. So make sure your sage leaves are a little bit well cooked within the tadka, because now all the butter is going to have the flavor of sage built into it. We are going to add chopped walnuts. You can even add hazelnuts if you like. It's up to you. And toast it for about half a minute. And I had saved some of my filling. I diluted it with water and added that as well to the butter and cooked it for another 30 seconds or so. So you can skip this step if you don't want, but this is going to make your raviolis look really good. And then in the end, I added the cold butter, and then right away I added my raviolis. What this is going to do is it's going to add that flavor of cold butter to your raviolis, and your raviolis is going to smell just awesome. Now you bring it all together and your raviolis are ready to eat. It's a really cool dish, really exquisite dish. Whenever I make it, my family loves it. One of the things that I do sometimes is, instead of butter, I use ghee, and that takes your raviolis to the next level. So try it out with ghee. Instead of putting butter in the pan, put ghee. So here we have taken it out for serving in a dish and topped it off with our walnuts, and look how delicious it is. We absolutely love these raviolis. They taste awesome. So do make them and tell us how you like the recipe, and if you enjoy it, do share it with your friends and family as well. And also do tell them about us and ask them also to subscribe to our channel. And please, as always, comment and let us know how you liked it, and if you would like us to make anything else, do let us know about that as well. So that was our butternut squash ravioli. I hope you make it this way, and I hope you like it this way. And if you do, and if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and also do recommend us to your friends and family. That way we can grow and we can continue coming up with these recipes for you. So please subscribe and encourage your friends and family to subscribe to us as well. And I'll see you in our next video. Till then, bye bye.